Hello, everybody. This is Paris Procopis. Welcome to the Paris Procopis Show. I'm back after a bit of a hiatus. It's been a while and a lot of things going on, and I'm hoping that my signal is okay and everything. I'm in a new location, so little bit of stuff happening. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. And let's see what we got going on here. I'm going to look at some of my comments here. All right, Perry. Hello. How's it going? And everything like that. In the news today, we just found out that I guess it happened yesterday, but I've been it's been a little crazy. Marvelous Marvin Hagler passed away. He was a boxer from my youth, back in the day, many years ago, back in the days of like Sugar Ray Leonard and, well, probably after Muhammad Ali and stuff like that. So back when boxing was such a big thing and everything like that, it's just, I must say, in the past few weeks, I've been wanting to get online and been wanting to do a show. I just haven't been able to. Like I said, a lot of other priorities have been happening. We got Agnes in the house. Agnes, would love to have you on the show one of these days so we can talk about some things. We got Mimi and Robin. And wow, got some new followers here too. So lovely. Well, on with the show. First of all, I don't know if you guys have heard, Joe Biden is backing a law that could put 57 million Americans out of work. There's a law that the Democrats are pushing in the House of Representatives. And basically, they're almost like they're trying to get as many Americans dependent on the government as possible. So that way they have nothing but, I don't know, just crazy stuff. So here's an article. This is in Western Journal. Democrats want as many Americans out of work and dependent on the government as possible. One of their newest legislative pushes makes that an indisputable fact. Although President Joe Biden has long been doing his best to depress the American economy by killing thousands of union jobs and furthering America's plunge into generational debt, it is all a pittance compared to what the Protecting the Right to Organize Act of 2021 could do if it's actually signed into law. The PRO Act was already passed by the House, and Biden has endorsed it. This would end 57 million jobs. That's how many Americans were freelancers back in 2019. And I'll tell you, freelancing kind of saved my rear end in 2020, because that gave me, kept food on the table, kept rent paid, and things like that. Let's see. While the aim of the legislation is to ostensibly stop employers from misclassifying employees for the company's own cost savings benefit, it would effectively throw millions of people out of work. So it's basically going to end anything that's right to work and everything like that. So Joe Biden's already killed jobs. He doesn't care about it. We saw that with the pipeline. And Ed, I'm going to send you a link. We need to have some fun conversations here, because we're going to talk about in a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the cancel culture and what's going on here. And I mentioned Marvin Hagler passing away, and let's all not forget the death of our beloved Pepe Le Pew. He, near and dear to my heart, romantic French skunk who was constantly pursuing the femme fatale cat, who always accidentally got a white stripe painted on her back. And, I'm sorry, but if you're triggered by a cartoon cat, then you've got bigger issues than anything else. I mean, it just, I'm going to copy the clipboard. I'm having some technical issues here, so bear with me a little bit. I'm trying something new because a lot of people would have noticed with my show is that I have, spent a lot of time not looking into the camera, and I was looking all around, and because even though I was looking at the person I was talking to in the feed. So, but now doing something different, it kind of makes it more interesting. But anyway, so Pepe Le Pew is out of commission. We already saw the death of Speedy Gonzalez, and these are all, they're stereotypes, and they're stereotypes from an earlier day. Maybe some people take them too far. I get that. There's also Greek stereotypes, so I've seen it all, but people have got to be able to make fun of themselves and not be so damn offended. Perhaps if here, I'm going to show you a picture that someone sent me. And I'll add it on here. But everybody needs to be able to poke fun at themselves. We look at movies like, what was the movie? My Big Fat Greek Wedding. That should have been offensive to all Greeks. And I thought it was a hoot. Most of us Greeks thought it was funny because it mirrored real life. And oops. I'm kind of, but it brought us memories of grandparents and great grandparents and just the stereotypes. The Greeks who don't like all the Greek men with the big mustache on their, and they all wore the tight jeans and the shirt that came unbuttoned down to here, the gold chains, the hairy chest with the hair. And then, they would always talk about non-Greeks, the Xeni, the people that were not Greeks. The Jews would talk about the Gentiles and everything like that. And they're all stereotypes. They aren't hateful or aren't meant to be hateful by any stretch of the imagination. Everything, you've got to be able to poke fun at people without getting offended. It's a cartoon skunk. Not all French or romantic. I mean, look at this picture right here. This was a perfect example. This is, man, calm down. It's just indigenous man, and just the Indian guy wearing the old Washington Redskins logo, and it's now the Washington Caucasians. And I thought this was hilarious, and I thought it was clever. It didn't offend me. I wasn't like, oh my God, I need a safe space. I can't seem to handle it. We got cancel culture running amok here. And none of this makes any sense to me. I don't understand. Why are people now suddenly getting so offended? And then we have, what's going on with the governor in New York with Governor Cuomo. He's been governor for a few years now. Now suddenly these women are coming out after him. And I'm not a fan of Governor Cuomo by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's a horrible governor, and he's got his own problems with the nursing homes and all that stuff. And then suddenly, why are they setting out to destroy this man? Well, I remember a while back, and I did some hunting of it. I know why they're trying to destroy this man. This is back in April of 2020. So right when the coronavirus was hitting and stuff like that. And the title is, quote, "He has delivered for New York. Cuomo praises Trump's coronavirus response. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is never shy to point out that President Donald Trump attacks him more than any governor in America. But on Monday, Cuomo took the unlikely venue, the Howard Stern Show, to offer a genuine praise for the president's response to the coronavirus in his home state. He has delivered for New York. He has, in response to a question about whether the president has done anything of any consequence to help. So, and by and large, it is work, Cuomo said about the relationship. He cited, as he has before, sending the Navy, the USS Comfort, and the construction of a military field hospital at the Javits Center, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this was Governor Cuomo praising President Trump. That was the nail in his political coffin. That is why they're going after him. He is not perceived as being woke enough. And this is all of a sudden, this isn't Republicans going after him. This is Democrats going after him. They're eating their own. And it's comical. It couldn't happen to a nicer man. I get that. He was a complete asshat to President Trump, but I'm being consistent. Give the guy his day in court. And do this. So I'm checking out some other things here. I should read some of your guys' comments. I haven't seen any of your comments. Yeah, I know. The dude was jacking up the numbers. Cuomo was jacking up the numbers. I get that. Everything was happening. But once again, yeah, there are reasons to go after Cuomo. But it's weird how all of a sudden he's getting Me Too'd. Yet all this conduct was completely acceptable by Bill Clinton. So it's the hypocrisy. And then, they're banning Pepe Le Pew for being an amorous skunk. He's a cartoon skunk, for crying out loud. An inanimate object. He's ink to paper. That's all Pepe Le Pew is. And they're going after the stupid skunk. But yet Joe Biden could go sniff every woman he wants, sometimes young women, whatever, just sniffing, being uncomfortable, doing. It's just weird. But nothing happens to him, and he's allowed to say, well, I didn't realize I was doing anything wrong. Well, right now he doesn't even realize that he's president, me thinking. And they're talking today about the vice president and the second gentleman. I'm just like, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Is gentleman, contributing to misogyny? I don't know. Maybe it is. You never know. Well, I'm going to bring on the show Mr. Ed Delgato. Welcome. Let's see if I can add him to the show here. Ed, how are you?
I am well. How are you guys doing today?
Are
we coming across okay?
Well, yeah, you're coming across. You're not in your studio this time.
No, I actually moved it upstairs, and I was, just figured I'd go on the phone, go mobile this time, do something a little different.
Well, that's all right. Well, welcome. I haven't been on in a while. I've taken a couple of weeks off because there's been a lot of changes in my life. I'm now identifying as a Greek. I don't know. I had ethnic reassignment surgery. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just
so okay. Now you can actually now that you claim it, you can actually walk around with a Euro stand and everything else, and you're good. You're good.
It's good. It's good to be Greek. I don't know. I've been wanting to get online for a while, but I just haven't been able to. Just getting stuff set up in my new home and all that stuff. I moved. I had to make my escape from Wauwatosa. Just the city. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of concerns in that area. Plus the school system. That was the biggest catalyst. And they're handing out $1,000 bonuses to the teachers. $1,000 bonuses because they worked throughout the pandemic. Hell, we all did. Hello. Yeah.
You know, the whole teachers
And
thing, it's a really touchy subject because on one hand, I don't trust teachers, period. But at the same time, I also know a lot of damn good teachers. My youngest, he's got some phenomenal teachers. But at the same point, I'm sorry, I don't buy the whole teaching's a calling thing, especially when you're part of a group that, wow, my dogs are just going to go crazy with each other.
the dog doesn't like teachers either, huh?
Yeah, apparently the dog doesn't either. You know, it's like, oh, I guess if you're going to do a sick out, I guess I'm not going to like you. Cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like if you're going to do a sick out, if you're going to do what the union tells you to do, then yeah, I'm not buying it. You're not doing it for the kids. You're doing it because, well, you're a political shill. You're an NPC. You know, so I have mixed feelings when it comes to teachers in general.
No, I see that, and it just they just got to stop putting themselves on this proverbial pedestal. You know, they didn't lose a dime in pay.
No.
Okay, so they had to adjust and teach from home. Okay, hello. You know, a lot of people had to do that. Luckily, I didn't have a lot of adjustment to do. I always worked from home for many years. You know, I had my, some part-time work too at the local mall. This seems to always be under some sort of assault lately. But it's, so we all contribute and everything like that. So anyway, enough about that, but that's kind of why I've been away. I've been moving. I've been dealing with that. I'm still dealing with bad. I don't know how my signal's coming across. So hopefully I'm clean.
Looks good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know I look great. I can't help that. As I'm oozing my Greekness.
The drip is strong with the Greek one.
But I'm just tired of hearing the whole heroes work here, heroes care. Teacher, it's like, we're how they used to have a first, second, and third place trophies. First place was the number one, and then second and third place were the first losers. Okay, really, that's how it used to be. But then you got okay, first, second, third. So we win, place, or show. Now we have trophies for everything. Well, now everybody can be your hero. Oh my gosh. Everybody from the school teacher to the baggage handler at the airport to the guys stocking the shelves at the grocery stores. They're doing a job. They're coming to work. They're getting paid for a service. They aren't doing it for free out of the goodness of their own heart. Or there might be, you never know. I'm assuming.
Yeah, maybe the guy who's checking you out at Walmart, because he's got nothing better to do with his time. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna put a cape on and start wearing my underwear on the outside.
You should. You might as well.
I should.
You know what the sad
on my shirt
is? Oh my God! You just imagine how that's gonna come across. I have so many designs that just popped in my head too, none of which were good.
I don't want to know. So,
but
okay.
What's funny about that? When you talk about like everybody's a hero, it's almost like they're cheapening the word hero.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you have a job, and I'm a firm believer that everybody can be a hero in their lives, with their families, with their circle of influence. Yes, but you got to step up in order to do that. Just doing your job, your day-to-day things that you're supposed to do, that's not heroic. I mean, unless you're like a cop or a firefighter or something like that, I mean, it's not natural to run into a burning building. That's your job, right. Yeah, but it's like, it takes some stones to do that. So, I'll give you props where props are due. But flipping burgers at McDonald's, SpongeBob SquarePants was not supposed to be career aspirations. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and that's not to demean the fact that they're, it's a job, it's work, and work teaches you skills and gives you certain pride in being self-sufficient, that kind of thing. I get all that. That's fine. No job is less important per se. Our whole economy thrives on everything from the person who sweeps the streets to the person who designs cities and everything in between. I mean, I'm assuming dead people. I think I just assumed species. I mean, is that politically correct?
I don't know. What are your preferred pronouns?
I can't say them publicly. Well, I am Paris Procopis Esquire.
Ooh, wow, Esquire. That is top notch right there. Oh. God, no, I want to watch that movie again.
Yep. I haven't been online in a while, so I'm a little punchy tonight, and so much has been happening. The thing that's really getting me, and I really want to talk about this, I want to get your take on this too.
Sure.
Cancel culture run amok. I mean, we're getting beyond everything. I mean, you got Demi Lovato saying gender reveal parties are transphobic. Okay, so the new ultimate victim are the transgenders. They're the Cadillac of victims right now. And you know, you got people going after people saying, you know, I'm someone who has daughters who are in girls athletics. Now you got all these kids losing their spots or losing their scholarships and everything like that to people who are not biologically female.
Yes. Yep.
Where are the feminists calling, screaming, saying that their femininity is being appropriated by men? Now they have an argument. They have an argument.
I was wondering where they were at when Caitlyn Jenner was named the Woman of the Year. It's like, you know that's roots, right? Just throwing that out there for you guys. Just, I don't know. You guys figure this out here. Maybe you guys need a powwow. Figure this one out. Oh, did I say powwow? That might be bad. I don't know. You guys got to figure this stuff out. Ah, man. Where's the?
Your name is now running. Your name is now running dumb. Your name is running dummy. We're done. So, you know, powwow is not a derogatory term. It's an Indian term. You know, it's like coup d'etat. That's a French word. Are the French upset that we appropriated coup d'etat? You know, am I mad that they have Greek week at every college in the country?
That's true.
They took our alphabet for crying out loud.
But you know what? It's okay though, because you realize you're a part of you, me, others. We're part of a marginalized community too. Did you know that? We're super straight. It's true. We can play their game. You know, if they want to, you know, say you're part of a, you know, this is how I was born. Well, you know what? I was born liking females. That's just kind of how it is. I'm super straight. You can't judge me. There it is. We're getting to a point where it's ridiculous. It's absurd. And I think the worst part about it is the people that are calling for the canceling of all of this stuff, the people with the worst hurt feelings, are literally the people that grew up watching South Park, Family Guy, The Simpsons, In Living Color, all that other stuff. They grew up watching this stuff.
And they're pushing the envelope.
Right.
Always. People weren't offended back then. Now they're offended.
By everything. I mean,
well, you and I were growing up on Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons.
That was good stuff.
Sanford and
South Park first came out, I remember watching the first couple episodes. I was like, yeah, this is kind of like way over the top. But instead of like telling people not to watch it, I just didn't watch it myself. It was like literally that simple. Yeah. You didn't like it? Switch.
Yeah, I didn't go out of my way to watch it, but when if an episode was on and I happened to be going through and I get it, I was like, okay, this is fun, you know, funny. Okay, they killed Kenny again. Okay, whatever. You know, there's some of that. But now, I mean, your child can have your child can have a sex change, take puberty blockers, learn about sexual orientations and the different styles of gay and straight sex. And they could be, you know, 4, 5, 6 years old, but yet now they can't watch Peter Pan, Dumbo, or Pepe Le Pew, or listen to Dr. Seuss, for crying out loud.
Wasn't that awesome? The whole Mr. Potato Head thing. And I got a kick out of it. I got a kick of that because I feel like this run, and I gotta apologize, I have to step outside for the smoky treat since I'm not in the studio. But I got my little Roddy over here. Got the new baby over here, so he's hanging out with me. But I got a kick out of that because I feel like this run of cancel culture started with Mr. Potato Head. And I love the CEO saying, it was like, well, this is what the people want now. And it's like, nobody asked for that. Who are you talking to, Hasbro? Seriously. Who was saying that, you know what? We want you to take the Mr. from the Potato Head off the thing. And then we want you to cancel Speedy Gonzalez because every Mexican's offended. Like, I don't know one Mexican who was, one Hispanic person, as a matter of fact, that was like the cool character. Because if you noticed in the cartoons, he was always on top.
Yeah, he was always winning. He was always
right.
The fastest mouse around and stuff like that. He even had his cousin Slowpoke Rodriguez, but it was once again a parody of real life. When like I was mentioning Greek, my Big Fat Greek Wedding, and you got the dad in there. You got to be proud to be Greek. Everything's Greek. Do you know the Greek word? My dad was a lot like that as a kid. You know, when I was a kid, and it was everything. You got to be proud to be Greek. You got to find the Greek wife. You know, I married a German, and my kids were Irish dancers, and I didn't vote for Michael Dukakis. I'm a terrible Greek. What can I say? But seriously, you know, I laugh at that stuff when people make fun of the Greeks, and everybody makes fun of everybody else. And I love it when people can make fun of themselves. You make fun of yourself. You always talk about yourself.
God, if I don't do it, I mean, somebody else is going to beat me to the punch.
But when did we get to a point as a society of being so ultra sensitive? You can't say that word because someone might be offended. Oh, that's so gay. You know, oh my God, homosexuals might be offended. Or it's like,
I think I know where we can pinpoint it. Do you remember, God, what was that little protest they had? When they were protesting the 1% on Wall Street? What was that called? Occupy Wall Street.
Occupy? Yeah.
Occupy Wall Street. And I think that was what, 11, 12? Mm-hmm. That's when everything went downhill. Because if you look at the people that were there, and on the onset, I think looking back retrospectively, I think the people at Occupy Wall Street, they had it right. I don't think a lot of us realized it at the time, that a lot of these big banks, this top 1%, they were literally screwing over the average person. And I heard Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy say this today. He said energy flows from weak people to weak, from weak to strong. That's just a natural flow of energy. And it was interesting because if you look at Occupy Wall Street, hedge funds, banks, they had all this liquidity, they had all this money, but yet they kept getting bailout after bailout after bailout. And at half the time, they were the cause, such as the 2008 housing bubble crash or the tech bubble crash in the early 2000s. And I think they had the right thing. Wall Street Bets, what we saw earlier this year with GameStop, was probably the way they should have done it, but the tech wasn't there. But the problem was during Occupy, they started like separating people, saying, okay, we're going to vote on certain things, but white people can't vote. Only the people of color can vote. And then it just kind of snowballed from there because they realized they can get power by marginalizing people, by segregating people, by making people victims. And I think they started getting victories with it. So it became one thing after another. And it's a never ending battle of I'm offended about this. And if I'm not offended about anything, I'm going to find something to be offended about. I'm almost certain that you can trace it back to Occupy.
That may be. Well, I think it goes probably further back. We had years ago, and I've talked about this on my. I think I've talked about this on my show. There was a book called The Naked Conservative. No, sorry, The Naked Communist, from the 1940s, 1950s, and there was a congressman who actually read it on the floor read excerpts from it on the floor of the Congress, and they talked about these things that are being done, normalizing different types of deviant behavior, destroying the family, the nuclear family, killing religion, all these things that seem to be happening. And this is just one of those things to, I think, to subdivide us even further from the way we were divided before. And we were actually making strides, and they don't want us to make strides with race relations and stuff like that. Most people were like, okay, yeah, we're all friends. Who cares? You know, whatever. Right. Now that everybody's going to be hypersensitive. Oh, I dare not say something because I might be offending somebody, or, you know, got to tell a joke, but it's like, you can't tell a joke now or whatever, because you got to, okay, let's look around, see who's around, you know, whatever. And people do it on both sides, all over the place.
I find myself having to do that sometimes.
But I mean, you look at, I mean, here's something to be said. Here's an excerpt. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered. And the process of continuing day by day and minute by minute, history has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present, which the party is always right.
1984.
Yep, George Orwell. And we're living it. And the party is the Democrat Party. They're always right. Do as we say, not as we do. And if you dare, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, if you dare even stray a little bit, you're destroyed. And what's happening in Andrew Cuomo? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve what's happening to him, but where was this 2-3 years ago?
Well, more importantly, why is it that they're going after him now? Because he violated the Me Too thing, right? And I think your point is extremely valid. Where were the complaints 2-3 years ago? But yeah, never mind to the fact that he killed over 15,000 people by sending active COVID patients into the weakest segments of our society, nursing homes. You know, let's just gloss over those 15,000 deaths, right? But because he tried to grab some booty or something like that, you know, yeah, now let's make him resign. A little late to the party there, guys.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Did you ever see the video? And I believe the gentleman's name was Alexandre Brzezinski.
Bernie.
Totally.
Oh, sorry.
Did you ever see the video from Brzezinski? I believe was his last name. He's a former KGB defector. He came to the U.S. and there was a video of him. I'll have to find the video and send it to you because it is an eye-opener, because he really breaks down how do you destabilize a capitalist republic? How do you destabilize a country like our own, knowing that you can't win on a head-to-head battle? You have to break it down. And, you know, if you look back in the 2000s and in the 2010s, that was like the demoralization, the breaking down of institutions, is what we're dealing with now. And he kind of really, really breaks this down in a way that when you listen to him speak, it's like, man, this is played out. And, you know, we joke about things because I think that's probably the coping mechanism that a lot of us use, you know, because the way things are playing out right now, it's like we're playing this amalgamation of a movie. It's like 1984 meets Idiocracy meets Demolition Man, you know, meets Brave New World meets, you know, Ultraviolet. I mean, just like a bunch of movies combined together, and the script sucks.
Yep. And they all have the same overall arching theme. The government is in control of what you say and what you do. And what you think.
Right. Ah, what a fun time to be alive. You know what bothers me? You and I were about the same age. And I remember back in the 90s, man. To me, the 90s was like, I know I'm an old man at this point because I say that the 90s were the best time ever. Because I remember everybody was just hanging out. everybody got along, black, white, green, yellow. Yeah, you have people that had certain prejudices and stuff, but you dealt with them accordingly,
Well,
or you just 86 them.
yeah.
And it just makes me wonder, where did we go wrong from the 1990s? It really, really makes me wonder, because we were there. We were there.
I
We
think
got to that point where we were not looking at the content of a person's skin, but rather the content of the person's character.
I think a big chunk of it was the onset of Bill Clinton. Not because Bill Clinton was overall. I mean, I think history is going to judge him. He was a pretty middle of the road president in reality.
Yeah.
He, he tried to do the national health care, but that was probably the most extreme thing that he did.
Hmm.
But he came with this attitude of starting to subdivide people. And that's where structurally things change. We were no longer this big homogenized group of people. We were now,
Sure.
African American, German American, Polish American, Asian American. Oh, it used to be Oriental, then it became Asian. Then, because it was more, you don't say Indian, you now say indigenous peoples or Native American. And then I remember I was at one of those big hoorah seminars with all the big speakers, and Charlton Heston was the keynote. And he came out, this is how long ago, he's been dead a gazillion years now. He came out, he just said, I was born in the United States, with his, deep voice. I was born in the United States. Therefore, I'm a Native American. And the crowd went wild.
Not wrong.
Yeah. So and there's even, lies about all that. And, Columbus and the explorers did not come out here and murder all the Indians. There was no massacre of all the tribes. There were millions who died, but they died from diseases that they weren't immune to that came from Europe. It was not intentional and things like that. And, and tribes were killing each other too. A lot of what we see a lot of this tribalism in the Middle East too. I mean, if Israel didn't exist, they'd all be killing each other, and they are killing each other.
Well, that's a dirty secret that I think the modern day American communist doesn't want to let out when it comes to so-called marginalized people and, the founding of America. They keep pushing this 1619 BS. And I think it's kind of comical when they talk about, the indigenous people were peaceful people. And it's like, you know nothing about history, do you? Like, you do understand. And when I say cultures, indigenous people, I'm literally talking about indigenous people from the nomadic Germanic tribes to the Polynesians to the Mayans and the Incans and the Aztecs. They all pretty much had the same thing. They battled for land, resources, and those resources could include people, more specifically women. They enslaved their enemies, and oftentimes they would have very brutal rituals like, I don't know, eating the heart of the enemy to consume their courage, or good Aztec sport was taking the severed head of your enemy and essentially playing kind of like a cross between soccer and basketball. So it's like,
they're playing head games.
They're playing head games, exactly. Wow, that's dark. That's
my dad would always say, I'm not playing kotsa, which is, I guess kotsa was this game that they made up as kids in northern Greece, that involved a bone from a dead animal that they'd kick around or something like that. I don't know. And now he's not around to ask him anymore.
Do when you have like no resources and stuff. You're like, you know what? Hey, you see that femur over there? Yeah, we're playing stick ball with it. Somebody pick up a rock. It's like, you hope the pitcher's got a real good aim too.
And and honestly, and people don't know what it's like to be poor. They really don't. Even the poorest of poor here, and I'm not talking to street people, but I'm talking about the poor people that are on welfare and stuff like that have like flat screen TVs and Some of them have cars and stuff like that. This isn't. There's a safety net, and I think there should always be a safety net. I believe in it wholeheartedly, to take care of those who are less fortunate, who help them get on their feet and then move on. I think we go about it the wrong way. It's kind of all or nothing. If you're either poor and you don't have a job, we'll take care of everything. Or if you get a job, no matter how little you're getting paid, you get nothing. There should be a transition period. I think, I'm not one of those militant conservatives that we need to cut them off. I think we wean them off.
But I think the problem is that, and I'd probably say 95% agreement with you on the social safety nets. As a civil society, we do have a fiduciary duty to take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. I think the problem with the Democrats was over time, they kept wanting to expand that program, in the quest of equitability, the outcome of all things being equal. Right. And in doing so, they created a dependent class of voters, which I guess if that's what you're trying to do, if that's your end goal, is to get this core base of people who will always vote for you no matter what, cool. I get it. It's pretty shady. You're messing with a lot of people's lives. I get it. But that wasn't the point of the social safety nets.
Right. It's not a point
it's for that person that got their back broke.
Yeah. Or, something happened that was beyond people's control. COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs. I think the government had to step in because the government shut everything down. Not the federal government, but these state governments that shut everything down. It's their fault. So I get that. But why do we have to have all this other crap in there? Why does it have to be, the Kennedy Center?
Never let a good crisis go to waste. Come on now.
Of course not. At least I know they have a gender study program in Canada and Pakistan now. My heart's so fulfilled. Okay. But it's
God bless them. God bless them. Hey, real quick here.
I think I'm teary-eyed. Yep, sure.
So something I've railed about for quite some time is the feminization of the American male. And there was a article I just came across today. And we know China is China's a big boy. China is a big boy. And they're a superpower. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, they're a financial superpower. They're on their way to becoming a military superpower. And quite honestly, they seem to be doing all the things that we aren't here in America. So, for example, we're trying to get all the men in the world here to be effeminate, to be more in touch, to denounce their masculinity, because that's base, that's atavistic, it's an evolutionary throwback. Meanwhile, China, they're ramping up their make Chinese men masculine again. And I'm over here like, damn, do people with eyes not read? Like, I wouldn't want somebody from another nation trying to be more masculine than me, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just an evolutionary throwback. I don't know.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to restructure. They're adapting. They're not. The Chi-Coms are not stupid.
No.
And they, up until recently, they pretty much left Hong Kong alone. Things like that. There's some capitalist tendencies there in China. So, but it's the one-party control that controls everything, and that's where our left wants us. It's not this. I've said this before. This isn't even Bill Clinton's Democrat Party anymore.
No, not at all.
The last Democrat who was truly proud of his country and a true patriot was John F. Kennedy, for crying out loud.
Yes, sir.
And maybe a little bit. You can make some argument. I don't think Jimmy Carter hated the country. I just think he was in way over his head. And you could have had Pepe Le Pew running, and they would have won because everybody was mad about Nixon and partying Nixon and all that stuff. It just, kind of like Wisconsin. At this point, I'm betting there were so many Democrats who were thinking of running, decided not to run because they thought Scott Walker was a shoo-in.
God, I know. So, okay, since you mentioned Wisconsin, I gotta ask. So clearly, Jonathan Wickman is planning on running. We're hearing Rebecca Clayfish. I'm a little skittish about Clayfish to the extent only because I'm tired of this whole okay, I'm next in line establishment. I've been here forever type thing.
I'll
where are
support her
we
if she
at
gets
with
through the
that?
primary.
Well,
We're going to have the Republican Party trying to clear the field. And under the guise of we got to be strong and support one candidate. No, we need to have primaries. I get that. Jonathan Wickman, nice guy. I don't know. Does he stand a chance? I don't know. I want to see a primary. If it's a 5-way primary, 6-way primary, I think anybody stands a chance. I think in the end, I think it'll come down to the ones that I've heard rumors of people running are Kevin Hermaning, who's Northwestern Wisconsin. He's a guy who was he was one of the hostages in Iran during 1979, 1980. There's some people saying Sean Duffy, although I prefer Rachel Duffy. I think his wife, I think she would be perfect. Well, I mean, she's attractive. She's got brains. She's quick on her charisma. Feet. Yeah. She's intelligent. She's got the star power. I think she'd be awesome. There's questions as to whether or not there's a scandal with Sean Duffy. I don't think there's truth to the rumors, but of course there's rumors. Obviously, Becky is running. She's been running since last year, which really, really, really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm really not happy about that because, it's.
Is that when we
needed to focus on Trump? Yeah, we needed to run. We needed to win Wisconsin for Trump first, then worry about. She needed to start in January for that. Then, of course, you had the morons. I'm sorry. It was moronic, absolutely moronic to try to mount the recall of Tony Evers last year. I think it was stupid. It took away attention from from the presidential race. People always say, well, we can do more than one thing at once. No, it was stupid. It allowed Evers to raise a shit ton of money, pardon my language, but he was able to raise a boatload of money, and that money was used to defeat Donald Trump. Whether he won or didn't win, that money was used to enable their ability to allow Biden to win. Notice I was careful with my words. Don't want to get demonetized.
I already had a video taken down from YouTube, so I'm actually done with YouTube. I'm not messing with them anymore. I'm actually looking at decentralized platforms. I'm going decentralized on everything very soon.
I've only had one YouTube video removed by them, and when they removed it, I didn't realize I make a backup of everything. So I had my backup, so I went ahead and put it up on Rumble. So it's still out there. But
there you go.
But it's so. We got Becky. If she wins the primary, I'm going to support her. I like her. I don't know that. My concern is I don't know what her plans are. What does she want to do? What we need to know what you're going to do. Not I need to win the primary first. No, I want to know what everybody's going to do. There's Bill McCoshen. He's a conservative strategist. He worked for Tommy Thompson for a long time, and Tommy was able to win. He helped Tommy win Milwaukee County back in his last governor's election, which was an extraordinary feat.
No matter what, yeah. What about Ron Johnson? I'm hearing that.
And then there's Ron Johnson. Yeah, Ron Johnson has not announced whether he's running for Senate again. Right. I think. And if he doesn't run for Senate, I guarantee Kevin Nicholson would run again. I could see Leah possibly running again. I don't know. I could see Sean Duffy running for that. And quite honestly, I could see Scott Walker running for that. I'm not thrilled with it. And there's some rumors that Walker was not really honest about his not running for governor again. He may run for governor again. I think it's a possibility. I think if he does so, it'll be to his own political peril. I think he would be next to last in a primary situation, and Bill's saying here he doesn't like primaries. They deplete funds. No, the primaries actually motivate. I think the problem is the party gets involved. I think the reason why the whole Tommy Thompson / Eric Hovde situation happened back then was the fact that Tommy Thompson, he spent everything to beat Eric Hovde, because the party started pushing Tommy. So Hovde was spending more money and all that stuff. And it just, in the end, I'm glad Hovde did not win the primary, because I think he needed to live the fight another day. And had he won, but then lost the Senate race, I don't think anybody would have been able to beat Baldwin that year. I think he would have, I think because of the Obama factor, nobody was going to win that race. So
Obama at the top of the ticket, everybody was, anybody with a DB on their name was winning. I mean, there was
just no way. And then Tommy had no money, and the party didn't do a damn thing to help him at the end. They pushed him and then didn't help him.
Well, I think that goes to show the ineffectiveness and ineptitude of the GOP, locally on the state level. Everything from that, what you're talking about, to I lived in central Wisconsin, very rural area. And I'm telling people, and I'm yelling about this, that they, liberals, the Democrats, they are making inroads. They are active in these areas. And of course, people are like, well, you know what? You can volunteer to do X, Y, and Z out there. I'm like, yeah, sure. Where can I volunteer? Where can I find the time? Unless you're going to pay my mortgage and my car note, there's that funny thing about making money, because the left like to actually do something. They actually like to pay their people, so they don't have to worry about that other stuff.
They do.
And you rely on volunteers, and it's like, you know what? Quit the BS and get with the times, or you know what? You will remain the party of being a minority status and ineffective, just as your leadership is. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yes, I did.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem is they don't pay for volunteers. They actually use people. And then all the money goes to the consultants who
the consultants, the mailing flyers. Mark Belling had a phenomenal article not too long ago where he talked about the plan to work with the GOP and improve upon that. Get them out of the cesspool that is Madison, move them to places like Fond du Lac or somewhere else here in the state. Get them out of the liberal, bubble that is out there, and get them in with the actual people of Wisconsin. But let's not do that. Let's just try the same old BS that we've done for years.
Well, the fight begins at the low levels. We got to win some leadership seats and stuff like that. I'm not talking elected office and government office. I'm talking leadership seats in the party. Next weekend in Milwaukee at the Hampton Inn and Suites in West Dallas on 82nd and Greenfield, there's the Conservative Political Education Conference of 2021. And we'll have all kinds of speakers there. We got Ron Johnson, Grothman, Bob Spindell. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. Bob Donovan, Kevin Nicholson will be there. I'm sure I'll be there. So it's another Conservative Digest event. We're sold out, but I think there'll be more people added. I mean, that kind of thing. So get out there, check it out. Look it up on Facebook. There's an event. It's on Eventbrite and everything like that. Go to WC Digest, facebook.com/WC Digest, and check it out. But if you're not sure what to do, go there. There's going to be a lot of people talking about what we need to do. There's other things happening behind the scenes. We need to make sure that the Republican Party is not taken over by the Never Trumpers.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting like crazy to get back in. I don't mind them getting back in, but they cannot be the leaders.
Oh, I mind them getting back
It,
in. God,
no,
I mind them.
no, I'm talking about the one they want to run the party. No,
Yeah.
if they decide, okay, yeah, we were wrong, they had a mea culpa, fine, but you're not in leadership anymore. You cannot do that. And that's where people like, I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry. Scott Walker is done politically. He cannot, I, he did next to nothing to help President Trump. When you got Tommy Thompson out there shilling for President Trump, and Tommy Thompson is twice Scott's age. You know, Tommy's in his 80s and he's out there.
Okay, I just want to interject this part, and only because I saw this over and over again with Scott Walker, and I'm not his biggest fan because I believe that because when he ran for office back in 2015, 2016, he essentially pretty much he was checked out. He was checked out of running, the state of Wisconsin, and I believe that's one of the biggest reasons he lost when it came to the election in 2018. But the thing is that what I saw during the election cycle here in 1920, I saw a lot of stuff from Scott Walker. And I don't know if he runs his own Facebook or if he has somebody else doing it for him, but it sure did look like he was stumping for Trump. Now, was he on the campaign trail? No, he wasn't. So I guess I'm just kind of a little.
He was stumping for the Republican legislative majority. That's all. He was not stumping for Trump. He was not. Yeah. He was not. And Becky wasn't either, which I'm very disappointed in. That's why, like I said, I'll support her if she wins the primary. I don't know if I'll support her in the primary. But once again, I don't know who. I can't say one way or another because I don't know what the field is. I'm still not super. I like most of who's running for different reasons, but I'm not. I need to see the field
and what they bring to the table. Because Tony Everett's bringing weed to the table again. It worked for him back in 18. He's going to try to get in 2022.
Yeah, they're going to try to pass a legislation, which they know is going to fail because of the Republican Assembly. You know what? The Republican Assembly needs to pass frickin' marijuana legalization. Get it over with. Do it. Take that issue away from them.
Yep. I am so incredibly opposed to marijuana as a whole in general. It's just because, well, we get to the scientific argument about it, but as far as the issue, as far as the medical purposes, the recreational, whatever, like you said, take it off the table, pass it. Everyone else is doing it. And at some point, we have to have the discussion on the federal level and say, you know what, even if you're going to outlaw it to a certain degree, get it off the Schedule I class, because marijuana should have never been a Schedule I drug. And let the states decide. Let that be a states' right issue. That's 10A all day long. And the states want to say, you know what, we want to make, marijuana legal. Cool, do it. Because that's a whole industry that comes out from CBD oil to hemp, paper, rope, clothing, all kinds of other stuff. But, let's not use common sense. And I think this is that old guard Republican thinking that we can't legalize this because it's a gateway drug. Well, under that assumption, eating a steak is a gateway drug because, eating a steak leads to obesity, leads to drinking, so
and
on
and
so forth.
And a good steak is addictive. Oh, yeah. I want more. Okay. So, well, appreciate you jumping on tonight. What?
We missed you, brother. I said we missed you.
Yeah, I know. I'm back. And there's going to be other things happening around the bend that I can't talk about. I'm going to be doing some more writing finally and stuff. I just needed to let everything stabilize. I finally got, moved in last weekend. And then this weekend I spent organizing stuff. Almost done. I was able to get my studio up and everything else got my backdrop. Woo. Deep space. Okay. So I'm easily amused. But thanks a lot for joining on my return to the airwaves.
Thank you for having me as always, sir.
Yep. So we're going to have a couple things going on, but I'm going to keep tonight fairly short, much to the chagrin of Hilario. I haven't talked to Hilario in a while, too. You should come down next Saturday. Starts at like 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m.
I'm going to have to, I got to check with a couple things, but yeah, I definitely would like to do that, because it's been since the chicken burn since I've seen everybody and stuff. It'd be nice to kind of reconnect with folks and stuff and kind of get things going. Get
some more motivation, maybe get some ideas for what you could do up there, see if you can get some events going up there, similar
for sure.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Mr. Delgado. I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Talk to you soon. Bye. All right. So I am just checking in a couple things here. I wanted to read this excerpt. We got Joe Biden telling us that, if we're all good, compliant citizens and do our social distancing, we get rewarded. We can have 4th of July. Where does that come from? Kind of an interesting thing, for that's the celebration of the creation of our nation. And there's kind of an interesting anecdote from history. I'm going to read this verbatim. The bar tab of a 1787 farewell party for George Washington was left intact and legible. According to the bill, the founding fathers drank 54 bottles of Madeira, 60 bottles of claret, 8 bottles of whiskey, 22 bottles of porter, 8 bottles of hard cider, 12 bottles of beer, and 7 bowls of alcoholic punch. And there were only 55 attendees. So those people knew how to party. But seriously, don't wait for permission from Joe Biden to be able to celebrate the birth of our nation. And people need to stop taking the bait. We, the American people, are not each other's enemies. The enemies are those people behind the curtain jerking everybody's chains and trying to divide us up by age, by race, and by income. That's Dr. Ben Carson. He said that. Don't give into it. And I'm talking to my friends on the right, too. Don't let them win. They want us divided. Don't leave platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and stuff like that. Still go to the other platforms and have that. But remember, you don't want to be in an echo chamber where people just are yes men. Then we're in danger of becoming just like the Democrats. One collective thought, no independence of thought whatsoever. As you can tell, we have different variations of different levels on things on different issues. That's what we need. We need discourse in this country. Don't let them cancel you, and don't respond to the cancel culture by engaging in cancel culture. It's beyond important that we keep fighting, and beyond important that we engage our fellow citizens. Some people are just ignorant. They don't know. They honestly don't know. Don't automatically label them as your enemy. In the end, we've got a lot of rebuilding to do. It starts with you. All right. I'm back. I'll be doing my shows more often again. And thank you for your patience while I was away. Talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye.